Electric rate plans. Common types of rate plans under a traditional electric utility in the United States. There are several common types of electric rate plans offered by traditional utilities in the United States. Each type of plan prices electricity in a different way. Why does this matter to you? Because your electric utility probably offers several different rate plans, and you will have to choose one of those plans. Most plans offered by traditional utilities are based on one of the types that I describe in this video, though each utility may customize its plans to some degree. I'm Maria Maher, and this video is part of my series on electric service and the traditional utility in the United States. In this video, I'll introduce 4 common types of rate plans: the basic or traditional plan, the tiered or block plan, the time of use plan, and the demand fee plan. By the end of this video, you'll have a better understanding of how the utility charges for electricity under each type of plan. You'll be able to look at a plan offered by your traditional utility and recognize what type of plan it is. And that can help you choose a plan that saves you money. In this video, I'll focus on how electricity is priced. There are other charges in your rate plan. I'll mention these later. I'll start by giving the bottom line for each plan, then I'll go deeper into the plans. The basic plan has one price per unit of electricity that you consume. The tiered plan has prices that change as you consume more during the month. The time of use plan has prices that change based on when you consume electricity. And the demand fee plan has an extra charge that is based on the maximum amount of electricity that you use during certain times. There are some key terms ahead, such as kilowatt hours, kilowatts, and demand. I'll cover these very briefly as I get into the plans. I've covered these terms in depth in other videos on my YouTube channel, so if you need more background information, please look at those videos first, then come back here. This video is an overview. Any information that your utility gives you about rate plans is important. So when you are looking at your current rate plan or choosing a new plan, please do look closely at the information that your utility provides. I'll note here that I do not cover rooftop solar in this video. Rooftop solar requires special equipment, and the plans for solar can differ from utility to utility. Let's start with a quick refresher on the traditional utility and rate plans. A traditional utility handles all aspects of your electric service. The utility does everything from generating power to billing you each month. When you sign up for electric service from your traditional utility, you agree to a rate plan. Your rate plan sets the prices and rules for your residential electric service. Your monthly electric bill is calculated based on your electricity use and on your rate plan. Here's a list of elements you might see in a typical electric rate plan. There's a description of service, a customer charge, an energy charge, in some cases a demand charge, and riders and adjustments. Please see my video, Cost in Your Electric Rate Plan, for an overview of all of these elements. In this video, I'll focus on the energy charge and the demand charge. There are 2 reasons. First, these are the elements that tend to differ the most between the types of plans. And second, the biggest costs on your bill often come from one of these charges. I'll focus on the energy charge for the first 3 types of plans. For the last type of plan, the demand fee plan, I'll focus on the demand charge. As I go through each plan, I'll mention the meter on your home. Your meter may be a modern digital meter or an older analog meter. Both kinds of meters can record and tally the kilowatt hours you consume each month, but a digital meter can also track your demand in kilowatts and record kilowatts. This will be important for the demand fee plan. I will also mention the terms peak and on-peak and off-peak. Peak time refers to a time period when electricity use is typically high. In other words, peak time is when many customers are using electricity at the same time, and the overall need for electricity from the utility is high. The utility may use on-peak and off-peak to define certain times during a day. We'll see this in the time of use plan. And the utility may also identify certain months of the year as the peak season. For some utilities, peak season will be the summer months, and for others, peak season will be the winter months. The utility typically charges more during peak times and peak seasons. Now let's start with the first 3 types of plans. I'll focus on the energy charge. These plans do not include a demand charge. As a reminder, the energy charge covers your electricity consumption. When you use electric power for a length of time, you are consuming electricity as kilowatt hours. This is what you pay for in the energy charge, kilowatt hours. Kilowatt hours may be written out or abbreviated as kWh. The energy charge sets a price or prices per kilowatt hour. Typically, the price is small in cents rather than in dollars. Now for the plans. I'll begin with the basic or traditional plan. The energy charge in a basic plan is simple. There is one price per kilowatt hour. The price does not change no matter how much electricity you consume and no matter what time of day you use the electricity. This is called a flat rate. The basic plan may also have a seasonal rate. For a seasonal rate, the utility defines peak months. The flat rate is higher during those peak months and lower during the off-peak months. The meter for a basic plan keeps a running total of the kilowatt hours you consume during the month. An old-fashioned analog meter can do the job. For your monthly electric bill, the basic plan will typically show the total number of kilowatt hours that you consumed multiplied by the price per kilowatt hour. The cost is your energy charge, and it is added to the other charges on your bill. The basic plan is a traditional electric rate plan used in many places for many years. The way to save money under a basic plan is to consume less electricity over the month. Next is the tiered plan, which is sometimes called a block plan. In a tiered plan, the energy charge will list several prices per kilowatt hour, with rules for when the different prices apply. Here's how a tiered plan works. Each month, the utility assigns you set amounts or blocks of kilowatt hours. Each block has a predetermined price per kilowatt hour assigned to it. The blocks are often called Tier 1, Tier 2, etc. The final tier has an assigned price, but typically no number of kilowatt hours assigned to it. In this example, I'll call this Tier 3. Typically, the Tier 1 block contains a small to moderate number of kilowatt hours at a low price per kilowatt hour. As you use electricity during the month, the kilowatt hours you consume will first count against your Tier 1 amount. Once you have consumed all of your Tier 1 block, you move into your Tier 2 block. The price per kilowatt hour for Tier 2 will be different. In most tiered plans, Tier 2 has a higher price than Tier 1. But in some cases, Tier 2 can be less expensive. Once you've consumed all of the Tier 2 kilowatt hours, the price steps to a new level. I'll call that Tier 3. Since Tier 3 does not have a set amount assigned, any kilowatt hours you consume beyond your Tier 2 allotment will be priced at Tier 3. The process of stepping to the next price level ends either when you reach that final tier and price or when the month ends. The prices in a tiered plan typically follow the same pattern each month, and each month you start over with Tier 1, Tier 2, etc. The tiered plan can also have a seasonal rate with higher prices during on-peak months and lower prices during off-peak months. The meter for a tiered plan can be either an analog meter or a digital meter. For the energy charge portion of your bill, the amount of electricity you consumed in each tier will be multiplied by the price for that tier. The subtotals are added to calculate your energy charge. The energy charge is then added to the other charges on your bill. Like the basic plan, the tiered plan has been used by utilities for many years. The way to save money under this plan is to consume less electricity and stay within the lower priced tiers. The next plan is the time of use or time of day plan. In a time of use plan, the energy charge lists 2 or more prices per kilowatt hour with rules for when the different prices apply. The different prices are linked to when you use electricity during the course of a single day. As I mentioned earlier, in the time of use plan, the utility defines times of day as on-peak and off-peak. Some plans also include mid-peak or super off-peak, etc., but for this example, I'll just use on-peak and off-peak. There is a price for electricity consumed during on-peak hours and a price for electricity consumed during off-peak hours. On-peak and off-peak times will be very specific. This example shows on-peak hours as 3 to 9 p.m. on weekdays. As your day passes, your price for electricity changes from the off-peak price to the on-peak price and then back to the off-peak price. This cycle of prices repeats day after day through the week. The days of the week can have the same pattern, or certain days can have a different pattern. For example, under some plans, weekend days and holidays are off-peak only. Here's what a week might look like, starting with all off-peak on Sunday, followed by weekdays with both on and off-peak times, and ending on Saturday, which is all off-peak. The time of use plan requires a meter that can track electricity consumed during on-peak hours separately from electricity consumed during off-peak hours. Digital meters and certain analog meters can do this. A time of use plan can also have seasonal prices, with higher prices during on-peak months and lower prices during off-peak months. For the energy charge portion of your bill, the kilowatt hours you consume during on-peak times will be multiplied by the on-peak price, and the kilowatt hours you consume during off-peak times will be multiplied by the off-peak price. The subtotals are added together, and the energy charge is then added to the other charges on your bill. Many utilities now offer one or more time of use plans. The way to save under a time of use plan is to shift electricity consumption away from on-peak hours. One option is to identify the appliances that consume the most power, then use them during off-peak times, when possible. There are tools that can help with this, such as timers on appliances and programmable thermostats. Now let's move on to the demand fee plan. This type of plan adds the demand charge to the rate plan. Many residential rate plans do not include this charge. The demand charge leads to a demand fee that is calculated each month and added to your bill. The plan still has an energy charge, and the plan may define peak times for both the energy charge and the demand charge. Let's do a quick refresher on demand before I cover the demand fee calculation. Demand is based on electric power. Electric power is instantaneous and is measured in kilowatts. kW is the abbreviation for kilowatt or kilowatts. Each of your appliances requires a certain amount of kilowatts or watts for small appliances to operate. Your demand is the total number of kilowatts needed to run the appliances that you have on at any given moment. A digital meter measures demand for the whole house or apartment, and your demand can change moment by moment as you turn appliances on and off. If you would like more on the difference between kilowatts, demand, and kilowatt hours, please see my video, Kilowatt Hours, Kilowatts, and Demand. In order for the utility to offer a demand charge, the utility must be able to track and record your demand in kilowatts. A digital meter can do this. It also separately records the kilowatt hours that you consume as part of the energy charge. Now let's look at the demand charge in the rate plan. The demand charge in the rate plan includes a price per kilowatt. This price is in dollars. The price is typically significantly higher than the price per kilowatt hour in the energy charge. The demand charge also includes rules for how your demand is measured and how the demand fee is calculated. Let's look first at how demand is typically measured. Your demand is instantaneous, but as a practical matter, the utility averages your demand over short time periods. The length of time used for averaging is defined in the demand charge. The length of time might be 15 minutes or 30 minutes or 1 hour. The meter records your demand as these short averages through the day, and typically the meter tracks your highest demand each day too. To calculate your demand fee each month, the utility uses the demand data collected by your meter and applies the rules from the demand charge. The rules will describe how your demand data will be used in the fee calculation. For example, if the plan includes on-peak and off-peak times, then the rules will describe how the plan handles on-peak versus off-peak demand. In some plans, only on-peak demand is considered for the demand fee calculation. In other plans, all demand data is considered. Once the rules are applied to your demand data, your highest demand for the entire month is identified. The highest demand number comes from a single day. That number in kilowatts will represent your whole month. The utility may call your highest demand your peak demand or your maximum demand or something similar. I'll use maximum demand here. Your maximum demand will then be used to calculate the demand fee. Here's a typical calculation. Your maximum demand multiplied by the price per kilowatt listed in the demand charge, and the result is your demand fee for the month. That demand fee is added to the other charges on your bill. As I mentioned earlier, typically the demand fee plan still includes an energy charge, but the energy charge prices may be discounted compared to the prices in other rate plans. The energy charge may be flat, tiered, or based on the time of day. The plan can also have seasonal prices for both the demand charge and the energy charge. The demand fee plan is offered by several utilities in the United States. It is not as common as the other types of plans. The way to save under a demand fee plan is to spread out when you use your major appliances so that your maximum demand stays moderate or low throughout the month. There are tools that can help you manage demand, such as programmable thermostats, timers, and monitors. And that's it. These are the 4 common types of rate plans offered by traditional utilities in the United States. You now have a better understanding of how the first 3 types of plans charge for the kilowatt hours you consume, and you also have a better understanding of how the demand fee plan charges for your demand. You'll now be able to look at a rate plan offered by your traditional utility and recognize what type of plan it is most like. And that will give you a head start in comparing different rate plans. And when you compare rate plans, remember to consider the other elements in the rate plans too, such as the customer charge and riders and adjustments. Utilities can mix and match the elements to create hybrid plans, so you'll want to look at each element in a plan. I'm Maria Maher, and this video was Electric Rate Plans, common types of rate plans under a traditional electric utility in the United States. This video is part of my series on electric service and the traditional electric utility. Thank you for watching. Please join me on YouTube at Understanding Utilities by Maria Maher, where I present utility matters in a way that relates to your life. See you there.